Greetings, Algo Artisans. Cowboy here, 8:30 a.m. EST, and I do believe the Guerilla could be joining us today. He was on vacation and had some stuff to wrap up after getting back. It's I almost did the same thing as I pulled yesterday, and then once like a few days ago, where I hit like one button, didn't hit the other, and was like live, talking as if I was live to nobody. Just I didn't hit go live. I hit like the button to do the intro, and I'm like, oh, I'm live. Whoops, not today. It happened for about 30 seconds, and I realized what was going on. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. We're going to jump into the charts. If you want to know more about what we do, go to the QR code at the top right-hand side of the screen, or just go to algofactory.tech, and you will find that we help people become traders. We help people build their own trading method, right? And when you're trading, it's really important to have your own method. I know a lot of people say, hey, use our system. And then oh, it's a great system. And maybe it is a really good system. But by and large, people will stop trading it. And it's because of psychological reasons. So if you want to understand how to avoid that pitfall, head over to algofactory.tech. We'll help you get started. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can see the numbers on this. Great trade from the cable yesterday. Unfortunately, some news events whacked it out and took it back out, right? Took it out. Now, we didn't lose any money here, we being me, because I took my stop and I put it to entry right as soon as it passed this structure, right? Let's grab an arrow here. Right here. As soon as it passed that, I put my stop to entry, and then you can see these wild candles. You see how everything was really orderly, very orderly, moving down, very normal, and then these wide kind of crazy candles. That's most likely a news event. Let's see what that might have been. So I know there was news overnight. Yeah, you had the Euro, PMI, a lot of manufacturing data coming from, Great Britain, Germany, France, all the kind of major powers over there as far as manufacturing is concerned. So as that news was coming out, in particular the Great Britain news, because this was a cable trade, this was the British pound versus the dollar, we can see that the price got kind of wild. And so I had protected the trade, and the protection was needed. So I didn't lose any money. I think I made like, a few bucks, enough to cover the fees and stuff on the trades. So the fees are tiny on trade. There's always like a small fee. And this is in the Forex market, though. Great trade. It just didn't work out. That's how it happens. And, you always need to know how to protect your trades, right? So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. If you have like a chart that you want to see, leave it in the comments, right? It might be, hey, I want to see what, I don't know, Frog Coin is doing today, whatever your interest is. I'm going to go ahead and jump into Bitcoin because we have, of course, been monitoring that. And it is, let me see here. Let's do this. Okay, this is the wrong. Is this the right one? We go to the right layout here. Give me 1 second. Here we are. Let me take this off the screen. This is just a practice layout here. I'm just going to change this really quick to what we need. We'll get started. Okay, we talked about USD JPY real quick. We will talk about it really quick. And we talked about it yesterday. It looks like my prediction was correct on this. Very tricky asset to trade right now, or currency pair, really. So it looks like the Japanese are protecting the currency. The Bank of Japan appears to be protecting the Japanese yen because it was being lifted up over a very high time frame, a top here at 152. I mean, it was at 152 for years. It bounced off of it 3 times, 4 times, finally broke above, and you would expect price by certain rules to go up to about 166.9, 167 yen to the dollar, but it has been pushed down and continues to be done. So even though the dollar is actually, last I checked, it's been getting stronger, the yen was actually getting stronger faster, and therefore this has been heading down, right? See, it's the dollar versus the yen. And what that means is that because the yen is on the right side of the equation, this is USD JPY, right? So it's USD versus JPY, JPY being on the right-hand side of the equation means that if the Japanese yen gets stronger, the chart goes down, and that is what we see. And that's what I predicted yesterday, but I didn't want to trade it because of where it was. At the time, it was right out of support, And what I was expecting was a break below, a move up, and a pop down. And that's apparently what it did. Let's go to a lower time frame to see if the way I mapped that is the way it occurred. I think it probably happened while I was asleep. I think we're going to see it on the 30-minute chart. Okay, so it happened way quicker. It's what I said would happen, but it just happened like really quickly. So I thought it would come down, grab, and then at the end pop back up. So the area I was concerned about was this low right here. And instead of coming down, popping up like this, what it did was it kind of came down here, and the pop up was really, really brief. So the trade was right here. Now, not to say there isn't going to be a trade again, because there is some structure way back here. It might be, and a trade like this wouldn't have a lot of there was some other structure in the way too, so there wasn't a lot of risk to reward on that trade, and that would have been a trade that would have been a bit risky because of that structure, because there's a big space between this structure here and a much older structure down there. The trade might be a pop down here, you grab up, and then down like this. So there's a lot more room for profit in this area. And keep an eye on that. Always a chance that it's going to pop up here and then pull one of these. So, I could look to enter with a bearish retest all this right here, and then just have my stop to entry as price comes to this area and to protect that trade, or just take the risk and let it go. But that's the way I would look at that. And that was on the screen, so I figured I'd just look at it since it was going how I thought it would go. And again, the algos were pretty bearish on that. The algos were pointing in that direction. So let's see what Bitcoin's been doing overnight. Okay, so back up into this area. A lot of people thought it would continue down, and I actually did have an inkling it would climb back up into this kind of greater area. You have this consolidation that seems to be building, right? This range. You have the bottom here, top here, and then it does touch that top again. Now you have price kind of hanging out here. So price might develop a range in this area. The last I looked, though, the algos were a bit bearish, and I at the time was not willing to go short on that, even though this was the time that I actually did a video on this was around here yesterday around this time, and my algos were kind of short, but the structure was such that I didn't want to go short, and it's a good thing that I obeyed that rule, because instead of heading down, even though it tried three times it tried to jump down like that. 1, 2, 3, right? So because of those 3 times, how do I say this? It got rejected to the upside despite the algos. So I did obey my rules, and it's good that I did so, because price headed back up. So it might be building a range. We're going to see. Let me go ahead and it did jump up to grab this liquidity. Like I was saying yesterday, price was right down here, and I said there's liquidity right above price, very close to price. So price probably is going to want to jump up to grab that liquidity, as long as the algos do call for a move up. So let's jump to the liquidity screen, to liquidations actually, to see what's going on with that. I need to bring up a new version. Give me 1 second. All right. And we'll just take a brief look at liquidity, and then we'll go to the private live lab. Liquidations. Refresh. So remember, these liquidations are where people's trades would liquidate if they're on, say, like Binance in this case. And what's going on in Binance is going to be pretty similar across the board to the other exchanges, because there's a lot of arbitrage going on. But see, so right now it's all about right above price. You see a lot of liquidity. It's from 66,750 all the way to 67.6. So 66,750 all the way to 67.6 is what we said. So right about here. So that's where the liquidity is, and provided that the algos and the price action are supportive of a move up, and it looks as if it may be, at least in the short term, yeah, we should be seeing price head up into that area. And a lot of people were a little bearish. They're thinking, oh, it's going to go down to 49,000. It's going to go down to this, go down to that. And it's possible. The daily algos actually, like I said yesterday, are a little bit bearish. But I think short term, we might see price swipe up to grab this liquidity on the 3 hour. The algos are bullish enough to at least boost up here, grab this, maybe complete this range, and then either continue to range based on liquidity, and either the bearishness on the daily will end and price will head up, or the bearishness on the daily will continue and it'll pop down, even if it pops down a little bit sooner. Now, there's a lot of liquidity to the downside right now, and this liquidation map changes like on a daily basis. So you want to, don't just rely on what it was hours ago. You want to always check this as you're trading. But there's a lot of liquidity between 60,600 and about 58,100. So say 58,000 to 60,500 roughly. There's a lot of liquidity in that area, and I think it's pretty much mapped out already. I just have to kind of manipulate a little bit. So yeah. So this is where you'll see some liquidity right here, and price may dive down to that as long as that daily algo is bearish, right? As long as this energy appears not enough to push price to the top of this liquidity will stand. And this basically, these liquidations are here because a bunch of people went long. Yeah. A lot of people went long. They think that Bitcoin's going to break its all-time high, and it may very well. But for the moment, I'm seeing some things in the daily that might push price back down. And now once price heads back down, if it heads back down, we have to understand that the entire landscape can change as to what's going to happen to Bitcoin. The idea that it might come back up to break the all-time high, or, might change. If price breaks below 60,000, that's when it's time to reevaluate. So we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep you updated here. We're going to jump over to the private live lab. Don't forget algofactory.tech, right? You want to come over, check us out. We help people become traders. We help people build their own trading method, which is pretty much, I mean, there are some people who trade that and they're successful and they didn't build their own trading method. It's possible, but what they have done is they've taken somebody else's method and they've tested the daylights out of it. But if you do your own method, it's even better because your own personality is imbued upon that methodology. It's actually just the way to go. So come on over, algofactory.tech, trade your job, upgrade your life, and remember,
join us or die.